it now. Say it now.
I'm interviewing Elle because Dominique from Her Words told me to, and I'll do anything Dom says, really. And after checking out Elle, she has really good vibes, and who doesn't want more of that in their life? So Elle, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having me. I love Dom from Her Words, so it's anything that she says I should do, I will also do.
Yes. All right, so scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. How are you feeling right now?
I would say an 8.5.
Ooh, that's really high.
So feeling buzzy, really awesome about life.
Elle, what do you do for work?
I do a bunch of different things. I do some consultancy stuff for not-for-profit, so I run different programs for them. An example would be the one that we're getting some funding for at the moment is for women who have been in prison. So we're helping to integrate them back into the community. So that kind of self-empowerment stuff. I also do a bit of business coaching with a bit of a spiritual edge. So I'm highly intuitive, and I've trained as an intuitive and an intuitive healer, but I also have a business and speaking background. So I tried to do one or the other and it just didn't work. So I ended up molding them together, and it seems to have taken off, and it is, I guess, unique in its sense, and the way that, you know, we don't often think that spirituality and business kind of go together. So yeah, that's what I do.
So when you're not in the room, people who know you, they are explaining what you do. What do they say? Like, how do they're like, you have to go to Elle
to feel lighter, for great advice, and for someone who demonstrates really good nurturing, caring. This after a conference last week saying, I wanted to meet you, but you always had people surrounding you, and I wanted to just let you know that I love what you put out into the world. And I thought that was such a beautiful comment, because I don't really know what I was doing. I just was being myself.
You mentioned that you grew up in Brunswick. What's the best thing about growing up in Brunswick?
The multiculturalism. So, you know, I went to primary school with kids from all over the world, and our Friday night takeaway foods consisted of Lebanese or Turkish takeaway.
Tomorrow, let's pretend your only plan is to lay in the sun with a book, and you have all the books available to you. Which book do you grab?
Can I have 2?
Yes, you can.
I grab 1,000 Splendid Suns. He wrote The Kite Runner as well, and The Prisoner of Azkaban, because I'm obsessed with Harry Potter. My cat's name is Harry Potter. Like, I'm full HP, like obsessed.
Full HP. I've never heard that term. It's so good. Okay, so you mentioned bread is your favorite indulgence. Can you get a little bit more specific on that? Are we talking sliced, rolls, a loaf, wheat, rye, 7 grain, white?
No grains. I hate grains, and my mum always buys grains. I just love a really good French baguette. But if you want to go a bit Brunswick, you go to Wildlife Bakery, and they've got this amazing olive kind of baguette, and that's what you want. You want it to be a bit warm, you want to get some butter, you want to get some delicious cheese, or even like a goat's cheese with a bit of dill in it, and lather that on the bread.
Snack time at Elle's house. That sounds delightful.
Probably eat too much bread, but
don't put yourself in the too much bread corner, okay? You don't need to do that.
Yeah.
You mentioned your favorite stone is kunzite.
Yeah.
Stone of unconditional love is one of your desert island magic items. Tell me about kunzite. Does it just hang around your house currently? Do you like rub it on your heart? How does it work for you?
I have a kunzite necklace that I wear a lot. It's super expensive. So for like a tiny bit like this, it'd be like $400. My dream one day would be to have a piece that was, you know, that I'd drop a couple of grand on a piece of kunzite. And it's so much more powerful than a rose quartz. The work that I've done with it has changed the way I feel about myself and my certain situations in my life.
In one sentence, what does Freedom Oracle mean for you?
The opportunity to be myself fully, to embody who I am, my truth.
You're creating a Freedom Oracle tarot deck. That sounds amazing. And you're putting it on Kickstarter at the end of the year. Wow. Yeah. Why should someone get this deck instead of like all of the, like there's thousands of other ones, right? So tell us why everyone needs your deck.
It's not just a card deck. So what I have done with each card, I've created all the artwork and I've channeled all the messages in the booklet. With every card and every message, I'm embodying this energetic vibration into them. So I'm working with every card as they come. You not only get a message, but you'll get some form of healing when you work with it. And because I'm also super auditory, I always have music playing. I love singing, whenever I get the chance. For every deck card spread, so within a tarot box, you'll get different spreads that you can do. So it might be 3 cards as a past, present, or future card, or you pull 1 card, tell me what I need to know, or relationship spreads, those types of things. I'm creating playlists to go with all of them so that it's going to be this full immersion experience, so that you're not only just pulling the cards willy-nilly, you're actually getting to immerse yourself, and then we can anchor a certain feeling in through the music. So if you hear that song when you're out and about, it will bring you back to that moment you worked with your deck and the healing that you did with that. Because I think that, we can get these messages from the decks, but we've got all these neural pathways happening. We've got all these energetic anchors happening, and we can create a card reading to be such a much more powerful experience than just like pulling a card.
I asked you, when do you feel like you put on an act? And you said, when people want me to be angry about living with a disability, because I'm just not. I could not give 2 shits. I'm in a wheelchair. Whoopity-doo. I really love that. Do you find people are awkward? I mean, this seems like a duh question. Do you find people are awkward about people with disabilities?
Yeah, people don't know how to react to us when really the only difference is I'm sitting down and you're standing up. I get it. If you've never met someone with a disability or you haven't experienced it in some kind of way, you might be uncertain about it or freaked out about it. But really, we all humans, no matter what our body looks like. It's just about communicating in the same way that you would to anyone else. And if you discover that that person with a disability has a different way of communicating, then you cross that bridge when you come to it. I'm so grateful and proud of the things that I've been able to achieve because of my disability. There have been moments where, from an external point of view, people would think that that was a really hard, terrible thing to have to go through. So I had to learn to walk again 3 years ago when I had my knee replaced, but I'm going to have to learn to walk again next year when I have my right knee replaced. So those moments are, they're hard, but God, the gifts that you get from having to really, work through those really hard moments for yourself, it's an enlightening experience.
Fill in the blank. I'm a feminist, but
I think we have to be careful when we're lumping all men into as being this bad, like all men are bad. Yeah, there are bad men, but there are also super masculine and bullying women. The men in my family, my dad, my 2 brother-in-laws, my best mate, are all incredibly nurturing, loving men, and we don't want to lump them into this. What I'm seeing is that a lot of young men are losing their confidence because they don't know how they're meant to be, because women are telling them that everything they're doing is wrong. So I think we have to be careful to not create even more of a divide between the sexes. If we want to actually bring us together, we need to allow ourselves to understand each facet of it.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's differentiating between the patriarchy and a man, right? Just because a man is a man doesn't mean that he acts as the patriarchy or adopts those traits. So now fill in the blank with whatever your guilty feminism is. Like, I'm a feminist, but I watch a little Bachelor. Okay, so what's yours? What's your guilty feminism? So I'm a feminist, but
I don't even know because I hate The Bachelor.
You don't have to like The Bachelor. I'm just showing my, my butt. You're just a perfect feminist. You're like a guilt-free feminist.
Well, I can be super liberal and cliched and be like, because I'm not doing enough to change the world, but then that's a lie.
You mentioned a highlight of your work is helping people to see the truth of who they are. What's the main thing you found holding someone back from doing that?
That they've been stuck in this same position or job or relationship for so long that they get to this point where they think they have to live that out. They don't give themselves permission to say, hang on a second, this doesn't feel right, or I'm worthy enough, or I honour myself enough to not live this life anymore. So it's like so many of the that I give with, or I have with people, and the workshops. Well, here's a permission slip to go off and do what makes you happy. You might not have all the answers to start with. I know that when I left my corporate job, I definitely didn't have all the answers, but I also knew that if I kept on going there, I was probably going to just shrivel up and die. Yeah, it's giving yourself permission to say, am I going to get stuck in this rat race of 9 to 5, or am I going to allow myself to follow my heart is telling me I need to do? You know, the universe will always catch us when we're late.
It's hard for a lot of people to charge for their work, but specifically intuitives, why do you feel like it's so hard for intuitives to charge for their work?
I wonder if it's a worthiness thing. We're learning to love who we are, but I also feel like this underlying message that healer or an intuitive, you just, because you've got that gift, you give it away for free. So yeah, it's been an interesting kind of moment where some people will pay, you know, more than the full price because they get so much out of it, and then some people will tell me that, with all due respect, I'm charging too much. People will pay for things if they really, really want it. So if people really want that $500 pair of jeans, they will. It's all about priority.
What Instagram account should I be following right now?
My friend Hayley is outside Light Hearts in Geelong. If you're like frothing over a good crystal and you want a beautiful Instagram account to just gaze at, it's hers.
I just like froth over good crystal. That's like something I do on the daily.
Gregory Scott is an awesome like tarot intuitive, and he does every day on YouTube. He does like tarot card readings, and he's so gorgeous. And Lucy Sheridan is awesome for her stories on comparison.
What business inspires you?
My friend Beck, I'm in her business at the moment. So it was the Co-Work Co, and then she has been brave enough to bring her consultancy business and her co-working space under one roof, which is called Path Hunting. Because I've been alongside her and watching her and gone through the doubt and had the, you know, sessions with her and the moments of should I or shouldn't I, it's inspiring to watch this woman kind of unfold into self-belief. Beck inspires me. Path Hunting inspires me.
Who is your icon?
Who did I say?
You said Frida.
Yeah, Frida. You know that I didn't know that she was in a wheelchair until like last year. Yeah, me and Frida like doing it for the world. I think Frida, yeah, she's definitely an icon for me, but probably my mum. This woman who had a child with a disability, and my dad too, you know, had no idea what was going to happen when this little baby came out and was not right. To then having another kid with another disability later, and just spending all her 30s, like how old I am now, going to and fro like doctor's appointments with her two youngest kids. And, you know, I often say that when I go off for surgery, the last face I see is always my mum's, and the first face I see when I wake up is my mum's. What an incredible woman to just do that for, and she's done that for all of her children and my dad as well. She's a stoic, incredible woman.
Here's to moms, but specifically your mom, because she sounds like a badass. All right, well, this has been great. Who should I interview next?
I think you should interview Beck from Path Hunting. I think that you should interview Nicole Rowan Holt. Nicole is creating this whole new initiative to create Australian Women's Day. So we have, you know, International Women's Day, we don't have Australian Women's Day. So she started all of that with a couple of her girlfriends and work partners. So I think you should interview her.
Done and done. I'll reach out to both of them. They sound amazing. Elle, thank you so much and have a great day.
You too. Enjoy the sunshine.